Okay, I'm a little bit pressed for time on this video, but welcome back to the C-Files. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And we're in The Battle for Christmas, the book on The Battle for Christmas by Stefan Nissenbaum, Pulitzer Prize finalist, A Cultural History of America's Most Cherished Holiday. This is the history of Christmas in the United States. And we're on page 150, and I'm sorry, 151. And we've been talking about how gift books in the 1800s became a popular gift for Christmas. This one is going to be Bibles as Christmas gifts. And we're going to read just that one section because I don't have much time. I got to keep this to 15 to 20 minutes at the most, and then we're going to move on. So this will be a short reading. So let's get right into it. Bibles as Christmas gifts. Most American families owned a Bible if they owned no other book. But before the 19th century, these were family Bibles, large and durable folio volumes meant to be used in family devotions and to be passed down through the generations. But early in the 19th century, Bibles became personal books as well, books meant to be the property of the individual who owned them. Such Bibles, especially editions of the New Testament, were heavily marketed at Christmas. Booksellers frequently advertised their selection of Bibles as heavily as they did their gift books, and right beside them. Here is a selection of ads placed in a Philadelphia newspaper by five different booksellers on a single day, December 24th, 1844. Beautiful annals, gift books, Bibles, and prayer books, and other publications suited to all ages and inclinations. An elegant assortment of juvenile books, religious books, miniature books for gift books, Bibles, prayer books, and testaments. Annals, prayer, and hymn books, pocket Bibles, and so forth. Handsome hymn books, annals, prayer books, and Bibles. Annals, Bibles, prayer books, etc. Even more self-evidently than with gift books, giving Bibles must have felt like a gesture suffused with sincerity. Far removed from the world of commodity production and commercial exchange. But from a publisher's perspective, Bibles were commercial exchange. But from a, I'm sorry, let me try this again. But from a publisher's perspective, Bibles were commercial products. And as the market for Bibles expanded, so did the competition between editions. They came big and small, fancy and plain, fat and thin. Like gift books too, Bibles came in a great variety of sizes, shapes, cover styles, and colors. Personal Bibles, especially, were often small in size, pocket Bibles, as they were known. There were even illustrated Bibles for young children. Booksellers advertised such Bibles as they advertised gift books, emphasizing their elegant bindings and illustrations. Personal Bibles were marketed with special vigor during the Christmas season, along with booksellers' other wares as another kind of elegant Christmas present. As early as 1818, a bookseller in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, printed such an advertisement on December 22nd and headed it Christmas and New Year's Day. His shop was offering elegant diamond type pocket Bibles, superbly bound in Morocco full gilt, um, though he would also sell common or plain pocket Bibles. In 1821, in Worcester, Massachusetts, Isaiah Thomas managed to spend the enormous sum of $30 on elegant Bibles for his granddaughters. By the 1820s, Bibles were competing with one another for market share, even in their content. One might think that all Bibles were the same on the inside, but this was not the case. Take illustrations, for example. The pictures printed in various illustrated editions of the Bible often emphasize one or another element of the text, divine wrath or divine mercy, for instance, presumably to appeal to readers of varying theological preferences or aesthetic sensibilities. Once again, a form of market segmentation. And many Bibles were published with end matter appended to make the book more accessible or alluring. These included chronologies and tables of pronunciation, etymology, geography, scriptural weights and money, as well as colored maps. Several Bibles published in the 1820s contained an ingenious fold-out key designed to make the meaning of many of the verses easier to ponder. But Bibles were able to disguise their identity as commercial products even more effectively than gift books. The divine authorship of the Bible and its role as an infallible guide to the conduct of human life rendered any clever sleight of hand quite unnecessary, especially when a Bible was intended as a present, and even when its physical packaging was used as a marketing device. Horace Greeley's New York Tribune made the point quite clearly in 1846 after arguing that holiday gifts had to be the free will offerings of friendship and affection, objects that would express a sentiment. Greeley went on to suggest that Bibles were the fittest holiday present he had ever yet beheld. But Greeley was not referring to just any Bible. We speak of the Illuminated Bible, published by Harper and Brothers in a superb royal quarto of some 1,500 pages, profusely illustrated by Adams from designs selected from the most superb European editions. This edition contained a chronological index, a general index of subjects, a concordance, an alphabetical list of proper names with their significations, tables of weights and measures, and so forth. Most impressive of all was the physical package itself. The press work was glorious. There were usually 3 or 4 illustrations on each page, and the binding, rich and durable. The book was leather bound, hand tooled, and embossed with gold, and its pages were gilt edged, or it's GILT edged. For those reasons, Greeley predicted that many thousands of copies are destined to be treasured as tokens of affection from and after the holy days, and its own an inscription page that read only a sacred token from a line to whoever, a line, leaving 2 blank spaces for the names of giver and intended recipient to be filled in. In other words, the Illuminated Bible was deliberately marketed as a gift book. The Illuminated Bible was a commercial triumph, selling enough copies in its first dozen years to earn the publishers a staggering $500,000 in retail receipts. But tiny personal Bibles sold well, too, and they seemed better suited to fulfill Greeley's own stated criterion as objects that would express a sentiment. Like gift books, again, these small volumes were often purchased to be given as a present by one family member to another, by a parent to a child, a husband to a wife, or a lover to his affianced. Here are several examples taken from the American Antiquarian Society's holdings of Bibles published in the single year 1827, a randomly selected year. Henry Shiver, from his affectionate brother George, a Thanksgiving present, November 14th, 1828. The little volume is a New Year's gift to Horace James by his affectionate mother, January 1st, 1828. Miss Dean, with the sincere love of her affectionate daughter Rebecca, December 21st, 1827. This is the same Rebecca Dean who would in turn be presented with a gift book 6 years later by Waldo Flint in token of his regard for her. See illustrations on page 149. All right. There is a classic literary example of all this, and one that occurs in a very famous book, Louisa May Alcott's 1868 novel, Little Women. When the four young sisters who inhabit this novel awakened on Christmas morning, each one finds a little illustrated copy of the New Testament under her pillow, inscribed with a few words by their mother. The four presents are of the identical edition. Each contains the same picture inside, but the colors of the covers are different, and Alcott specifies just what they are. Joe's copy is crimson covered. Meg's is green, Beth's is dove colored or beige, and Amy's is blue. Beth was very much impressed with the pretty books. Alcott tells us, and Amy says, "I'm glad mine is blue." The gift of these Bibles is an effective gesture of emotional intimacy. Their mother, Marmee, knows her daughter's precise individual taste, but at the same time, they are part of a process by which Marmee is training her daughters to make informed decisions of their own in the confusing world of consumer preferences. In fact, another popular fictional heroine of the period is simply overwhelmed when she is forced to select her own Bible. Near the beginning of Susan Warner's runaway bestseller of 1851, The Wide, Wide World, the young heroine Ellen Montgomery was taken by her mother to visit a bookshop. As mother and daughter entered the shop, Ellen senses a delicious smell of new books, starting with children's books lying in tempting confusion near the door that is placed right at the entrance. And when Ellen heads for the Bibles, her wits were ready to forsake her. Such beautiful Bibles she had never seen. She pored in ecstasy over their varieties of type and binding. "Now, Ellen," said Miss Montgomery, "look and choose. Take your time and see which you like best." Ellen looks the Bibles over intensely. As though a nation's fate were deciding. She was weighing the comparative advantages of large, small, and middle-sized, black, blue, purple, and red, gilt or not gilt, clasp or not clasp, or clasp or no clasp. First, Ellen selects for herself a large Royal Octavo Bible, heavy enough to be a good lift for her. But her mother persuades her that it would be too bulky for everyday use. So she chooses again, this time a beautiful miniature edition in 2 volumes, gilt and clasp, and very perfect in all respects, but of exceeding small print. Ellen says, Isn't it a beauty? I could put it in my pocket, and carry it anywhere with the greatest ease. This time, Miss Montgomery warns Ellen that reading the fine print in such a book would soon cause her to require eyeglasses, and so presumably to lose her beauty. Ellen is bewildered. She has lost the power of judging amidst so many tempting objects, finally rejecting all that were decidedly too large or too small or of too fine a print. She chooses among three Bibles, a moderate size and sufficiently large print, but different binding. Her mother approves of all three. Ellen finally picks the red one. This was the best-selling novel of its day. Susan Warner's point is clear, and her scores of thousands of avid readers must have responded to it. There was simply too much stuff. The very choices buyers faced made them feel helpless. Middle class America was consumer heaven, but consumer heaven was also consumer hell. The Bible itself, the book of books, the one book that offered a certain guide through the labyrinth of human existence, had become a part of the labyrinth, another overwhelming commodity. And that's our reading. Next time we'll be in the Sedgwicks, How One Family Discovered Christmas. And right, that's on page 155. And we're doing good. We're about halfway through the book, I would say. So we're making good progress on it. I hope you're enjoying the reading and learning from it. That is really good history when it comes to understanding Christmas in America and how it developed. Thanks for watching. God bless. We'll see you next time here on the C Files, and um, y'all have a wonderful 2026 as we're coming up. We're New Year's Eve today. Tomorrow will be 2026. And so we will continue with what we're doing in 2026. God bless.